If it's not already time for you to start seeds, it will be soon. Today, I'm going to be starting asparagus and eucalyptus, and I'm going to show you how I like to do it and the gear that I like to use. Have you thought about starting your seeds in soil blocks, but you're not exactly sure what that's all about? Today, I'm going to be starting both asparagus and eucalyptus seeds using a Swiftblocker soil blocker, and I'll show you how to do it and just how easy it is. One of the biggest reasons why people don't soil block is because they think they need a complicated soil block mixture, a recipe that calls for multiple different ingredients. And I'm here to tell you that is not the case. You can find a really good organic potting mix and you can sift it. You can even pick up a colander from the dollar store to use as a sifter. I'm not sure anything at the dollar store is actually $1 anymore, but I digress. Or you can make your own soil sifter. I used some scrap wood, screws, a staple gun, and some 1/4-inch mesh. I'm using a cement mixing tub from one of the big box stores. I believe it runs $8. The reason I am sifting this potting mix is because typically potting mixes will have some larger pieces of perlite or wood fines that don't work well in soil blocks. You don't need to buy a specific seed starting mix. Typically, that is more expensive. You just need the right consistency, and sifting a great potting mix or soil will give you that. Here you can see what's left over. It's the bigger pieces, some coconut core fiber, wood fines, and large pieces of perlite. And the next step is just to add water. We're going for a mashed potatoes consistency. A lot of times, if you find your soil blocks are hard to press out, it's because the mixture is not wet enough. It can also be a good idea to let the mixture sit and absorb the water for a little bit before you try and make any blocks. You want to be able to wring water out of the mix. We're going to let that sit for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then we'll be back. Today, I'm going to work with the Nano 9, makes 9 soil blocks, and the Nano 25, which makes 25 soil blocks. And the way I'm going to decide which one to use is I'm going to do a combination of how big the block is and how long I think this is going to be inside, and the number of seeds I have. I only have 10 eucalyptus seeds in this packet, so it's going to go in the Nano 9. And I have 25 asparagus seeds, so it's going to go in the Nano 25. I could also do a couple sets of the Nano 9 for the asparagus. It's really up to you. When I'm filling the soil blocker, I'm going to make sure I pay attention to the corners. Sometimes those get overlooked and don't get as much soil as the rest. And without super packing down the soil, I am going to tamp it down so that it is firmly packed in, but not like a concrete block. That's feeling really good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape the excess soil off so that we get back down to the metal grid. If you have soil above the metal grid, it will be extremely difficult to press the blocks out. You can fill your soil blocker directly on the tray that the blocks are going to live on, or you can do it on a nice, flat, smooth surface, and the suction will allow you to lift the blocks up and press them out somewhere else. The Nano soil blockers come with these built-in dibbles. I'm going to just lightly press this to create a depression for my seeds. Oh my God, they're tiny. Whoa. And the seed packet told me that eucalyptus seeds need light to germinate, so I am not pushing them down into the blocks. I am simply setting them on top of the block. Something I like to do for my soil blocks, but it's not necessary, is to use some fine-grade vermiculite. I sprinkle it on the top before I press the blocks out, and this helps retain moisture in the top of the block, especially while we're waiting for the seeds to germinate. Because these guys need light, I'm just going to do the tiniest little dusting. Are you ready for the best sound in the world? What's key here when pressing out your blocks with the Swiftblocker is I am not going to push the top part down. I am actually going to pull with my fingers the bottom part up to meet the top handles. I have found the easiest way to label soil blocks is to use painter's tape and put it directly on the side of the tray. To retain moisture, we're going to pop a humidity dome on the tray, and I'll show you where that's going in just a minute. So when I'm looking at my asparagus instructions, sow 1/2 inch deep. So I'm going to take a skewer and make small holes in my soil box. Are you wondering why I didn't do these sets of soil blocks on the same tray? There's actually a good reason for that. The reason is once you add your humidity dome, this is only going to stay on until your seeds germinate, until they sprout from the soil. And if you have seeds that are going to germinate at different times, you're going to have trouble knowing exactly when to remove that humidity dome. I have 2 different plants that are going to germinate at different times. The eucalyptus could germinate in 14 to 21 days, and the asparagus could germinate in 10 to 30 days. The next step is the soil blocks are going to go on my grow station. The eucalyptus let us know that it preferred light to germinate, so that's why I have the lights on. If it is something that doesn't need light to germinate, you don't need the lights on until it does germinate. This heat mat allows me to set the temperature, and the eucalyptus likes 65 to 75. So I'm just going to set that right here. Perfect. The asparagus did not say what temperature it likes, so I'm going to put it on a heat mat that does not allow you to set the temperature. And I can turn these lights off. They don't need to be on right now. When you're watering soil blocks, it's a little bit different than if you're watering pots. You're going to bottom water, and you want something that allows a slow, controlled flow. I prefer gooseneck watering cans. While you're waiting for your seeds to germinate, it's important to keep the tops of the blocks moist, and a spray bottle works great for that. What you're going to look for when you bottom water is that the blocks absorb the water in about an hour. If there is still water left over after an hour, then you can pour it out. And to do that, you just carefully pour it out of the corner. While we're at the seed starting station, let's talk a little bit about the lights I use. I believe that it is critical to have lights, but it doesn't really matter what kind. You can get grow specific lights. Typically those are more expensive. I am using Utilitech shop lights. They each have a pull cord that allows you to turn them on and off, and they daisy chain together so that you only need one outlet to plug them into. I attach them to my racks using pulleys so that it's easy for me to raise and lower my lights as needed. I do remove the metal clips that come with on either end of the pulley, and I attach them using reusable zip ties because that gives me an extra 2 inches of space in which I can raise and lower the light.